Just wrapped up our last physical practice of really game week. And, we've had a great week. We've had a good camp, and I know everybody says that. And I think it goes back to, you got to go back to January and you got to go back to February, March, all the way through phase one, really, of year two we had a great off season in January. We had a great spring. We had an outstanding June, and we had a really good July. And then you get into fall camp and you put the pads on and you start to see what it's really about. And I think this team has gotten better and better. We're nowhere near a finished product, but I like this team's mentality. I like their toughness. I think we're owning being disciplined more and more daily. That's got to be a big part of it. I think they're a close group. They care about each other. They care about this town, and they care about this university. And I think we're seeing something happen right now in this university, in this town, that hadn't happened in a long time. And I think we're seeing everybody start to come together as one. And that's something that we've talked about from day one. And talking about it's one thing. But being about it and seeing it is another thing. And I think that I know, this town's rallying. They're rallying around us. This community, our former players, just the athletes in this school are rallying around each other. So this is a rare moment that we've got to capture. And we have to capture as a community, as a university, and as an athletic program.
Coach, biggest difference this year going to the first game compared to first game last year?
This team is a close team. They know each other. When you've got 90% of your team in January, and part of that, again, and you've heard me say this, part of that is having the number one retention in the Sun Belt, the 24th retention in the country. So that gives you an opportunity to have experience back. That gives you an opportunity to have, comfort back, whether it's X's and O's, the strength program, the speed program, the coaches, everything. The biggest difference is we're becoming a player-led team. We're not there yet, but when everybody's new and 73 players are new, and even the players that are brought back, it's new, phase one, it's tough. Year one's the hardest. Year one's the hardest, but you got to put your head down and you got to lay a foundation to be able to build off of it. And this team did. Last year's team did. And this team is experienced. I think we're hungrier, we're deeper, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're faster. So now we just got to prove it on the field.
How do you prepare for St. Francis? What kind of scouting report do you got?
Well, the thing you've got their head coach returning that's been there, for a minute. He does a great job. This is good. They're coached really well. They're tough. What you see is what you get. They're good at what they do. There's not a lot of disguises in what they do. They run about 3 coverages on the back end. They have a couple fronts. They're not fancy. They're tough. They're rugged. They play together, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. They're disciplined. When you have an O-line coach that's the head coach, they're going to be tough, and they're going to be physical, and they're going to be disciplined. So that's what we're expecting to see, Thursday night.
How much turnover did they have when they decided to drop down?
They had a lot of turnover, a lot. I think defensively there's 3 players back on their defense. Offensively, they've got their quarterback back, a couple offensive linemen, a couple receivers. It's one of those deals where, this is college football. Retention is more important than recruiting. And retention is who you are every day. What's your culture every day? What's your purpose every day? So, there's always the unexpected in that first game because you really don't know. So the thing about it, we prepared for a lot of unknowns, and we are very competitive in practice against each other. So, I think this team, we've got a couple more days. The physicality's out now. Now the mental starts and the prep, of getting our bodies back and really getting our mindset ready.
Coach, talk about those unknowns, and obviously preparing for a little bit of everything, but just for this team to continue to go where you guys want to go, a fast start to get out to a quick start, a successful start. How important is that for you guys?
I think it's critical. We work every day on starting fast. We work every day on finishing. I don't think we started fast yesterday, and I think we picked it up today. So you're always sharpening, you're always ironing, you're always teaching, you're always giving examples. And, it's key that we go out and we execute. We get off to a fast start. And getting off to a fast start is really about your mental preparation. It's what it is. That don't mean there's not going to be back and forth, because when you have those two championship teams, it could be 3 and out on both sides of the ball. It could be back and forth, and then who has the will and the mentality to continue that course. And that's one thing that we try to take pride in, and we're not there yet, but we're climbing. We're climbing, and our goal is to be peaking around week 8. That's when you make a run. You got to be willing to withstand those storms all the way through up to week 8, and that's when you want to be playing your best ball, because that's where the races are starting to decide themselves.
Week 1, game 1, a lot of energy, a lot of just excitement to get back on the field, but just for you guys to remember the mission in hand and not make those uncharacteristic mistakes, stay within themselves. What's talking with you guys about that?
I mean, it's every day. Every day we have examples from, and we'll make them from today's practice. It's the details, man. It's the details, and it's the little things. And you can go back to all those games last year, and we relive them, because a lot of these guys were on that team. And when you're tied 21 up with 7 minutes to go against Arkansas State at their place, it's those details that swing the game. When you're up 17-14 with 10 minutes to go at Marshall, it's those details, and you've got the ball. When you're up 17-14 at South Alabama at halftime, it's the details that keep you in it with an opportunity to finish, late in the fourth. And that's something that there's no, there's extreme accountability in this program, extreme accountability, and they understand why.
Now, ultimately, looking for balance on offense. How far along is Aiden from that Lafayette game to where he is going into this game for St. Francis?
I think Aiden Armenta is right where I hoped he would be at this point. When you've coached quarterbacks for a long time and you understand the maturity and the growth that it has to take, and that it does take, because you can't buy experience, those last 8 starts were critical. And he was a redshirt freshman. And we didn't have the roster built really for him to flourish. And I think this roster we've taken a huge step. I think Aiden is on point to be a championship quarterback. I mean, this kid is going into his redshirt sophomore year. His football IQ is off the chart. He's a football junkie. He's a great leader. He's a great teammate. He's got a great release. He's accurate. He can read defenses. He can change. He can do it. So I think this is the beginning of a great career for Aiden Armenta.
There's not a 2 or 3 deep listed in here. Is that on purpose?
Well, right now we're still making them battle. We've got some battles up front, especially at the left guard position. We've got some battles interiorly at the D-line. We've got some really good battles there. We've got some great battles at inside linebacker. And today's practice is really going to set the tone and set it that first game rotation, because now the physicality is out.
You talked about the depth. Ideally, how many guys would you like to see play Thursday?
Thursday, I would like to see us roll at least 18 to 22 on defense. I think we're legit too deep, and I think we can roll them, and that's how we practiced, which gives us an opportunity to be able to finish in the fourth. I think our depth got to us last year in the end, and that's on me, But year 1 of building a roster is a challenge, and we've met that challenge. Now we're in year 2, and now you're going to see we've got starters and we've got co-starters, because we feel like those 2s are just an edge behind those 1s, and now we can roll them and keep everybody fresh, especially through a conference like the Sun Belt that is a physical, tough, rugged conference. And I think this team is more built and more prepared to make it through this conference.
Last year, you guys obviously used the motivation of being picked one of the worst teams in college football. Even after the breakthrough year last year, bottom of the Sun Belt Conference standings, motivation again?
No doubt. We're picked 14th, and we like that. We like where we're picked. Wouldn't have it any other way. Picked 7th in the West. So it's up to us to prove them wrong. You either prove them right or you prove them wrong, and this team works daily to prove them wrong.
Plethora of running backs. Is one emerged above the others, or is it going to be running back by committee?
I think it's going to be by committee this year. I think we've got a really good running back room. I think Braylon McReynolds has an outstanding spring, summer, and fall camp. He's got that. He's got that what we call that dog in him. I think that Zach Palmer Smith has had a great, fall camp and summer and spring, and then you come to Dorian Lewis from New Mexico is right there in the mix. He's got a huge role. They've all got roles, and then you look at Tyrell Bird and really D Ford. The last 7 to 9 days, you've seen it slow down for them, and you've seen those guys really come on. So it's going to be by committee, and I think they're still growing. I really do. I think they're all getting better. I tell you, Hagen Herring is right now 155 pounds, and he runs like a lion. That kid's going to play here one day. He really is, and his toughness is what we stand for, and I think he's earned the respect of this entire team.
As an offensive play caller, how do you balance that in terms of having a guy with a hot hand and want other guys to get their carries too?
To me, when a guy gets hot, we're going to feed him. It's that simple. If he's feeling it and he's in that groove, then we're going to feed him. That's just how the game goes. When a guy gets hot, we're not going to take him out. Now, if he needs a breather, we're putting the next guy up. But if a guy gets hot and he starts feeling it, then I enjoy giving him the football.
The first chance to defend the loan. Took a lot of pride in that last year, and obviously you mentioned the Sun Belt. You got to take advantage of every opportunity. Just defending the loan, having that first game here to start that quest. Talk about the motivation of these guys.
You go through year one, and every kid we recruited in this program, we were dead up, honest with them, real and genuine. We said, here's our purpose. Our purpose is to turn this program around. Our purpose is to win the first bowl game. Our purpose is to win the West and to win the conference championship. And, we don't care what people outside this building set as expectations. We don't let that affect us. We care about our people inside this building and our town and our alumni, and I'm telling you right now, so you go to year one, and we played for this town and this university. And we fought to the end. We never got negative. We never blamed it. It's my fault. It's always on me. And they stuck together, and they came back. So now I think it's amplified. Just like our team's amplified, the mission and the purpose is amplified. And I think, we've had an off season of change. And, sometimes things, they get worse before they get better. And when you have the right leadership and you have the right people in place and everybody comes together, this is our town, this is our region, this is our university, this is our time mentality. Let's see where we can go. And that's the message. We've got a university, we've got an athletic program, we've got a president, we've got an administration fighting to take this university to the next step. Now it's time for our town to show up Thursday night with white. We have a whiteout. Show up. And let's see what this town can be and this region can be together as one. It's that simple. And the time is now. I've seen this before. I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited about this team. But I'm also excited about the direction that this university is going.
You mentioned that community, and we talked about it a lot last year. This is kind of a different energy. All offseason, Kurt talks about the excitement of the football season, to see what you guys do in year number 2, to see the community coming around, and see not just the bottom players, but from everybody here in the Monroe area. Pretty special, isn't it?
It is, man. It's special. You get so many opportunities, in life to truly make change, whether it's with one of our players and we're mentoring our players and getting him to see the best version of himself, the best version of this university and the best version, of this town and this program is right in front of us. It's right here. And like I said, I've seen this before. We've got to take advantage of it. We've got to take advantage of it. And that's up to us working every day to prove it. But it's up to our town to buy tickets. It's up to our town to come pack this place out Thursday night at 6:05. And let's see who we can be together.
Finally, as you put the other hat on, the AD hat, are you guys ready for 3 days of football here at Malone Stadium?
We are. That's there's always storms, man, and there's always storms, and there's chaos at times. But you get to see exactly who everybody is. You get to see who can lead. You get to see who's going to run right through the storm, or you see who's going to fade. So the guys that want to fade, we want them to fade now. Fade now. And the people that are going to stand up and stand together, show now. And we've got that here. And I think we're organized. I think we're prepared. I think this athletic department is unified amongst the coaches, amongst the teams, amongst the players. And I think this department's unified, and I think we're going to put on a great show Thursday night. Come see it for yourself.